The fifth episode of Ms. Marvel is the shortest so far, but that doesn't mean it doesn't deliver an important part of the story that's very crucial to who Kamala Khan is, and also shows us things that we've seen talked about so far. So let's talk about the stars, the history, and Ms. Marvel's origin. So right from the start, let me just get it out of the way. Audio commentary out later today. And if you join right now, you get 160 plus audio commentaries, and everybody that's a part of any tier gets the first episode of Ms. Marvel. Now let's get to the episode. So as we saw at the ending of the last one, Kamala finds herself sent back through time, almost as if there is a purpose and a reason, which has kind of been something that's been mentioned before and talked about. But before we can get to that, we go even further back to an important person in her life and how the bangle relates to her and what exactly was happening. And we find out that we are going all the way to the time of the partition and even way before it for this episode. What we're going to be seeing is a lot of things happening that kind of all relate to one part of this story, and that is who exactly and what exactly is Kamala descendant from. And while they tippy-toe around the pieces here, we do find out that there's a lot of interesting things that are going on that relate to the power that's being sought out. We also get to see Aisha as she actually gets to spend some time with the person she falls in love with. And she, of course, has a child. And this is very important because that child is the child that saw the stars, aka this is Kamala's grandmother. So following that, it's interesting to see how they frame this in terms of how she followed these stars, how Kamala is tied to it, and how her getting brought back through time was actually an important part of this story, aka Kamala always traveled through time and was there. So this brings a whole new wrinkle into, well, the MCU as a whole, really, because time travel without this big consequence is something that's really interesting. Now, of course, we don't know exactly how this is going to play out, if there's going to be any ripples in time, ramifications that are pretty major or anything, but it is here. The fact that Kamala was sent so far back, and she actually made sure that the story played out properly with the stars that have to be followed and all that. So that to me was really interesting, and I think one of the standout moments of this episode, considering it is a slower episode and we see how things play out. And at the end, by the time Kamala comes back, well, we see that this portal, the veil, is now open. Now here, when some of the let's just say what they are, the villains, when they get hit by it, we see that they first turn to stone before they end up falling apart. It's almost like how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. played with Terrigenesis. Again, they're very much tiptoeing around the Inhuman thing, but probably not making her an Inhuman. It's something else, while also leaving some room there for interpretation. And by the time it's all said and done, we see, this is pretty brutal. And we do get this moment where Kamala finally has a good moment with her mom after this, who sees that something is off. Like, what's wrong with your hands? Like, you were doing something with magic. And the episode overall closes on this great, happy note for Kamala's story, at least. The actual ending to the episode, there's a lot more to talk about in regards to that one.